Hi, I'm Sonal. I'm finally getting around in doing my practice framework after a long full-on trimester. I have also presented similar practice framework on my placement recently. Before moving ahead, I would like to do acknowledgement to the country. I would like to acknowledge the Noongar people as the traditional custodians of the Wajik Perth region and recognize their continuing connection to land, water, and community. I respect their continuing culture and the contribution they make to the life of this city and this region. I also acknowledge my gratitude that we share this land today, my sorrow for some of the cost of that sharing, and my hope and belief that we can move to a place of equity, justice, and partnership together. This video may contain images and names of deceased persons. All right, so the metaphor. The metaphor that most speaks to me when thinking of my practice framework is cooking, and I see myself in this clip art picture. I'm a daughter, a wife, a mother, and a sister, and now also a clinical social worker in community mental health. I'm, a, I'm proud of my roles that I play in my life. For me, being a social worker is more like a being a. Why have I chosen this metaphor? Coming from an Indian culture where it's widely expected that a woman should be able to cook, whereas same is not expected from a man, where cooking is a mandatory skill for an Indian female. This is a stereotype, but every stereotype has an origin to it, and even this has one. I am a married Indian woman with a 4-year-old son, and I love just enjoy cooking. I would continue to love cooking for myself and for my family forever as I love it. It does not make me feel any lesser than other genders. Few people at my workplace actually make fun of me that I cook all the time and how it makes them see me as this uh, usual submissive Indian woman. But it actually makes me feel great that I have got a skill as hobby. Shouldn't I be greater if people are dependent on me for their next meal? I have decided to teach cooking to my son also. I hope he would enjoy it as much as I do. However, I'm not bothered that my husband cannot cook, keeping in mind I can take care of that part, but I will make him do dishes though. Uh, Cooking represents what I bring to the practice because when we do cooking, we need to use different tools and ingredients to achieve different results. It is the same in social work profession as different service users require different technique and resources to help them achieve success. Resources are a critical element in the interaction that occurs between a social worker and the service users. Okay, so let's start some cooking. Cooking represents what I bring to practice. In my practice post, I have a gas stove. Yep, and this is my use of self. And look, my ingredients has already started popping up. My use of self, which is the controller of the gas stove, this represents my self-awareness to control the right amount of temperature or intensity required in my practice. And this ingredient is my values and belief. Values and beliefs are the ingredients in my cooking. Accordingly, I choose the way to cook my dish or the approaches I apply in my practice. So this is very important for me. Next comes, looks like a salt, yes. And this is my knowledge, or we could say my experience that I'm going to bring into my practice. Knowledge and experience are sold in my practice framework, particularly in this metaphor, which plays a crucial role in any cooking as it has capacity to enhance or spoil the complete flavor of the dish. So I will be carefully incorporating my past knowledge, which I have gained through lived experiences and professional experiences. Next is olive oil, quite healthy one. Olive oil represents my skills, which I use as lubricant and taste enhancer in my cooking, and that keeps the flavors intact. I believe in cooking in olive oil as it's quite healthy for my family. Similarly, I will be using in skills to maintain healthy relationship with my clients, avoiding the scope of conflicts, though right lubrication and maintaining professional integrity by keeping flavors intact. Okay. Another kind of experience is understanding the relationship between the ingredients and what happens when you mix them or apply heat. This kind of experience lends itself to improvisation, and innovation. Okay, there comes the main part, theories. Theory is my magic box full of various spices. All spices have their own significance as different theories apply in different situations to make more sense of it. There are many different tastes in cooking. Service users may prefer their food or their services to be sweeter, like mild korma, or hot, like vindaloo. We can put together various spices and herbs, and they enhance other's tastiness and make the end creation even more delicious. I will choose appropriate theory based on the situation and requirements, considering the choice of diners. When cooking, it is always fascinating to see how ingredients comes together, which may be completely different but complements each other. Yeah, so these all ingredients goes together in my practice pot and create a framework. All right, let's jump to next slide. Use of self. So let's see what all I'm gonna bring in my use of self. All right, so here we have got accepting, engaging, reflexive, lived experience, compassionate, humor, self-care, and mindfulness. Uh, the most important aspect we bring to social work practice is our personality, as these personality traits, what what I've written here, works as therapeutic tool for my practice. Use of self, which is we can also call it like knowledge of the self. Use of self enables social worker to endeavor for authenticity and genuineness with the service users we serve, while at the same time honoring the values and ethics we so highly value in social work practice. It's vital for social work practitioners to have understanding of self. I personally use these key features of mine to examine whether I will be able to work with particular client and what all features do I need all of these features, or which particular selective features are best suitable to incorporate while assessing the particular client. I believe self-awareness is essential to prepare ourselves before we encounter clients' personal matters. So here I present my values and beliefs, which I'm going to put into my practice. That includes non-judgmental, social justice, integrity, honesty, respect for equality, and do no harm. I know they very much align with social work AASW values, but honestly, um, these all boxes uh, are my personal values and beliefs as well. The ASW Code of Ethics and Practices Standards provide the structure for my cooking and therefore the underlying foundation of for practice. Any good cook will recognize the beautiful tastes that come from exploring the culinary delights from cultures around the world. In the same way, a great social worker will embrace the culture differences of their service user. For example, like few Islamic culture, they cannot have all kind of meals and they avoid to have pork and they can only have halal meat. So I will be very mindful of those religious beliefs and choices and their values uh, when I'm working with them. In some ways, values are similar to theories to understand and analyze the situation. One can feel strongly about something, but acting on that feeling involves personal values and beliefs. I have these values and beliefs ingrained in me through my upbringing, culture, and life experiences, and I have already started incorporating them on my practice. I come from a country where social justice I have seen is led down a lot of times. I have seen corruption in politics. I have seen inequalities in all aspects, and caste system still prevails, not much due to modernization. And these social issues have made me passionate to work towards eliminating them. I understand I cannot serve as a social worker for my country, but Australia also have got a lot of social issues, being a multicultural country, and people come here from different part of worlds who have seen different social issues in their own country they are coming from. So there are a lot of traumas attached to it sometimes. So yeah, definitely Australia needs social worker. Okay, next ingredient in my cooking is my olive oil, my skills. My skills, which I'm gonna use in my practice framework, includes critical reflection, advocacy, relation building, interpersonal skills, bilingual knowledge, multicultural sensitive practice. Yep. So critical reflection. For this, I strongly believe in looking back and reflect on my action. This assists me to improvise my practice and also appreciate myself when my actions are in best in the given situation. Um, that's like a motivation for me, encouragement for me, and this boost up my confidence. I would continue supervision with my senior social worker at my workplace, which I've already started doing it, to continue refining my social worker skills and knowledge. For advocacy, I have been advocating for my clients in court hearings, like public trustee meetings, guardianship meetings, start court hearings, India's planning meetings, and a lot of police matters as well. I have represented my client on their behalf with their consent when required. Um, Next is my relationship building. I think I do well with building rapport with my clients, taking benefit of my uh, interpersonal skills and avoiding. I also always like avoid diving straight into mental illness or medication conversation in initial and assessment sessions. Rather, I focus on building a relationship and gain their trust, gradually get on the management goal discussions. Um, Next comes bilingual for me. Bilingual is India is the country where I come from is like they have got we have got more than 15,000 languages, and I have lived in different places for my studies and for work before I moved to Australia getting married. And then this has given me opportunity to learn various languages, which will definitely benefit me to work with clients from call background, because we get lots of migrants who come from Asian background, and we share very similar kind of cultural practices and beliefs. Yeah, so it's gonna align really well. Similar is multicultural sensitive practice, like my multicultural background, where I have learned to respect other cultures. In this way, I will be cultural sensitive while working with clients for all ethnicities, as this will also assist me to build relationship with my clients for a long-term service. All right, so this slide is about a very important ingredient, which is salt, and I am more savory person rather than sweet. So this is my one of my favorite ingredients in my practice pot, knowledge and experience. I believe the key to success in the kitchen is to following a well-tasted recipe that has been developed through experiences and knowledges. So it is fun for cooks to add their own personal touch. Personal and professional knowledge and experiences plays a role of salt in any recipe. As a social worker, it is our job to add a pinch of salt or a sprinkle of sugar and try to engage the passion and taste of our service users by adding what they love in our practice. Okay, so for this, I have got personal knowledge, which I have gained through life experiences and diverse culture, work ethics. And within my professional knowledge, I will be bringing my NDIS experience, as I worked for a private NDIS service provider for 4 years before I started working as a social worker here in community mental health, and I'm still like continuing using those knowledge and experience working as a mental health clinician here, as we refer a lot of our clients to NDIS and do their assessments, which is a part of our case management. Yes, and next is case management and psychotherapy. I'm still learning about CBT and DBT. Uh, Next is risk assessment and psychosocial assessment. Yes, we have been to. I've already been started doing that. And mental state examination is like for for all the assessment. I need to perform mental state examination, which I really enjoy doing it. When it comes to theoretical knowledge, I bring in my social work theories into practice, my ASW code of ethics, ethical decision making, where I sometimes struggles, and it's too early to say, but I do sometimes get confused. What should I do in this situation? Then what I normally do, I go to the seniors and experienced professional there, and if possible, senior social workers, to take suggestions from them, their advices, which most of the time I come back with a solution. Yeah, so these are the knowledge and experience, my salt to sprinkle in my practice pot. Hmm. Oh, here comes my spices. I love the colors here. Theories. Social work theories help remind social workers that their personal assumption and belief should be suspended during social work practice, and enables social worker to explore cause of behaviors. Social work practice and interventions are grounded in theory and evidence-based practice. One challenge of applying social work theories to practice is choosing the right theory for the situation at hand. It can be difficult to assign a single theory to complex client issues. Often, it's more practical to draw upon knowledge of multiple theories and use that understanding to design multifaceted interventions. There are many theories that I relate to and believe to be important. However, strength-based practice theory and social learning theories best fit with my own values and beliefs. And as such, I have chosen to include these in my developing framework for social work practice. All right. So here we have Bandura's social learning theory, which is also called social cognitive theory in mental health. It is also known as observational learning theory, which conceptualizes that service users have learned first presenting behavior from observing others' behavior and attitude. Service users and our behavior is product of the environment. Bandura's theory has got 4 or 5 principles. The first one is like social learning, observational social learning proposed 2 primary mode of learning. Is through it could be modeling or imitation, and second one is like attention, paying attention, which is like noticing something in the environment. Then comes to retention, remembering what was noticed. Then it's reproduction, which produces an action that was copied or was noticed. The last one is motivation, the importance of motivation, which is a consequences changes the probability the behavior will be emitted again. I find social learning theory the most commonly used in everyday life, with one of the most evident being the behavior of children as they imitate family members, friends, kids, and TV characters. If a child perceives that there is a meaningful reward for such behavior, they will perform it at some time. Just like my son, he has observed and learned from his daddy not to contribute in house chores, rather do many things like outdoor activities, gardening, washing cars, as they make his daddy proud of his son that he has got a son, a man. Uh, social media presents plenty of social learnings as well. Most popular these days is social media challenges people attempt, like on TikTok, and I do accept that I am one of them. I just love doing that. This behavior is typically encouraged by the desire to be socially accepted or liked. So this social learning theory answers my question here. That's why I like it. Why do people act the way they do? How do people learn the certain behaviors? And I use it in mental health a lot. Um, the basis of social learning theory is very simple. People learn by watching other people. We can learn from anyone. It could be teacher, parent, a support worker, siblings, YouTube, or even just celebrities on TV. We observe their behavior and we mimic that behavior. So, in short, the answer is we do what they do. I am able to connect this theory working in community mental health as for some mental illnesses like addiction and phobias. This might mean that a person developed a disorder by watching other people be rewarded for that disorder. But it can also influence the treatment at the same time. Social learning theory is a useful tool for social workers to employ when assessing and assisting clients. This theory can often help identify and treat the identifiable cause of certain behaviors. I get opportunity to work with various mentally ill patients, and I have noticed that patients with anxiety disorder, aggressive behavior, and violent behaviors often have parents or who themselves had anxiety disorder or diagnosis, or have experienced similar behavior in their past. Uh, so over here I've got a scenario which is like Richard. Uh, I have a community patient, Richard, with diagnosis of drug-induced schizophrenia, insightful of his illness and on depot and psychotic injections, which is working on average levels for him due to his continuing delusional thoughts and paranoia with random people and terrified of a TRG police around him. Richards has had a number of hospital admissions in mental health ward due to increase in his paranoia, and as he seizes his medication, he commences living on the street and random lodges. Though Richard has a stable home based house, when Richard was assessed, he mentioned that police is chasing him and light globes at his place are CCTV cameras through which police is spying on him all the time. He doesn't feel comfortable staying at his place. Um, like then I started wondering what's the reason for Richard's delusions and phobia for police could be. I applied my social Bandura social learning theory to identify how Richard's phobia developed. I went through all previous notes, did bit of research, and found that when Richard was 12-year-old, his father used to make drugs at home in eastern states and sell it to random people, and one of them reported him to police. Police raided at his place and he got convicted for the same. Uh, Finally committed suicide by inhaling gas while serving the sentence in jail. Richard has lived all his life in this trauma and keeping a fear of police and strangers, that even when he hasn't done anything wrong, he gets severe anxiety and panic attacks looking at the police. This is how he developed his phobia for police. Got involved in substances use, which he observed and learned from his father to cope up with his anxiety. 35 years later, the same stimuli, even in non-threatening environments, causes him anxiety and fear for Richard. Um, and the principle that explained Richard's phobia here also helped guide his treatment. Um, Through several gradual therapy and psychology sessions, Richard was exposed to that same stimuli, but the social, mental, emotional, and physical reinforcements were all positive. Okay, so next I have here is strength-based practice theory, which this is an approach to care, support, inclusion, conceptualizing the solution by looking first at people, what people can do with their skills and their resources, and what can the people around them do in their relationships and communities. People need to be seen as more than just their care needs. They need to be expert and in charge of their own lives. It's more like recovery oriented practice theory. uh, I connect with it with this theory the most. The reason is my 4 years of experience working in NDIS with physically and brain injured patients, where we work towards the goal of maintaining and enhancing clients' independence in best possible ways. And during my placement also at Community Mental Health, I found myself applying this theory a number of times. Strength-based practice is a collaborative process between the person supported by service and those supporting them, allowing them to work together to determine an outcome that draws on person's strength and assets. Uh, Strength-based case management in mental health combines a focus on individual strength with a couple of principles, which includes promoting the use of informal supportive network, offering assertive community involvement by case managers, and emphasizing the relationship between the client and case managers. It is an approach that helps participants achieve specific desired outcomes. This also assists people in feeling free to talk about their strengths and weaknesses, which is very important to set goals that they want to achieve, and to bring change in their life. Researchers have suggested that the value of a strength-based approach may lie in encouraging people to stay involved in treatment programs, most notably when it comes to people with substance and misuse problems. Okay, so I've got a scenario here. This lady got transferred for me for case management from previous clinical nurse as a case manager when I got into employment. And this lady, the patient, requested for a new case manager in clinic. A bit about this lady is 30 years old lady with diagnosis of complex trauma, severe depression, borderline personality disorder, history of child sexual abuse by biological father. Mother passed away when she was 6. Lived with auntie, moved out of house at the age of 16, graduated in arts. She finished her studies, traveled the world using her inheritance, worked for government organizations before things fell apart for her. Until 2017, when she has had to a hospital admission due to her mental illness. She has minimal social friends and acquaintances, no family contact, hasn't worked from last 2 years, works casually at Fringe Festival, checking the tickets to get some extra cash on weekend. Currently on job seeker payment, lives in private rental, currently managed at clinic for medication management and vouchers and treatment referrals. She is on ECT at hospital at the moment, and where doctors and psychiatrists have already declared her illness as treatment resistant. Uh, Previous notes and handover illustrated her narcissist personality and overinvestment to feel depressed. During my initial assessment, I found her the same. However, I managed to build rapport with her, and down the road, she stated that she feels worthless, useless, and obese. She is obese due to the side effects of her medication and treatments, planning to end her life end of this year around Christmas, as she has got no reason to live, no family and social contacts. In few assessments, I picked up the keywords from her conversation to identify her concerns and needs. When I discussed deeper about it, she accepted that yes, these are her needs, but due to cultural beliefs, she feels hesitant. She is hesitant to ask for help, especially when it comes to finance. As a case manager, I encouraged her to come up with the strength and capacities she has to find the solution for her crisis situation, and developed the solution and task focused management plan with her inputs, in which she also agreed to do a bit of tasks like application paperwork for Centrelink and NDIS to keep herself distracted. And this also gives her a feeling of independent in her life and with minimal support. She mentioned that she had couple of case managers before, and they all were nurses by profession, mainly focused on her medication and treatments, and never got assessed psychosocially. They never had this amount of conversation with her. So I reckon rapport building was missing somewhere. However, she feels that she has got a vision for her life. In this case, strength-based theory assisted me to conceptualize the solution, uh, conceptualize the situation, exploring the entirety of patient circumstances and focusing on what is strong and not what is wrong. I conducted meaningful conversations with her where she was an expert in her own life. All right, so here are my takes from my social work course um, and placements, which are like I am a social worker. I do not have a magic wand, but I do have a heart to care, ears to listen. I have time to give. I have ideas to share and an open mind. I may not be able to fix all the problems, but I can promise that my clients won't have to face them alone. I'm here for them. I understand I will never be bored in this job. However, I might be frustrated sometimes. I will be surrounded by challenges. However, there will be very too much to do in little time. I carry immense responsibility and with very little authority. I will step into people's life and will make a difference somewhere. Some will bless me, some might curse me. Um, I will get to see people in their worst and their best. I will see life begin and end. I might cry a lot, but I would definitely laugh a lot. Uh, I know what it is to be a human and not to be a human. Thank you so much for watching my presentation of practice framework. I appreciate your time. Thank you.